Let me introduce myself. I'm Anna. Dentistry runs in my blood. Both my parents and my granddad were doctors of teeth. Granddad left me a nice chunk of change when he passed. Between that and the dough I'd saved from filling cavities and yanking wisdom teeth, I managed to scrap together $300,000. Enough to snatch up a cozy house right near my clinic, with a lawn lush enough to make the neighbors jealous. I love that house. It's not just the fresh paint or the way the morning light spills through the bay windows, it's mine, all mine. Bought and paid for with years of staring into other people's mouths. But enough about me. Let's talk about the day my life took a sharp left turn. It was a lazy Sunday, my only day off, and I decided to hit the mall. Just wandering, killing time. That's when it happened. I turned a corner and bam! Collided with this guy, tall, kind of lanky, with a panicked look as he juggled a set of fancy glassware. I reached out to help, but nope, too late. Crash, right there on the shiny tile floor. Pieces everywhere. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. I blurted out. My face must have been 50 shades of red. The guy, bless his soul, just shrugged and let out a laugh that echoed down the aisle. Hey, no worries. I've got butterfingers. Should have known better than to try and juggle these. I crouched down, trying to pick up the mess, feeling every bit the klutz. Let me pay for these, please. It's the least I can do. He tried to wave me off. Really, it's fine. Accidents happen, right? But I wasn't having any of that. I insisted, and finally, he relented. Alright, if it makes you feel better, sure. After paying for the disaster I caused, he asked, "Coffee?" on me, as a thank you for being decent about this mess. Maybe it was his easy smile or just my sheer embarrassment, but I agreed. That coffee turned into us chatting for over an hour about everything and nothing. His name was Eric. He was a mobile app developer, a real techie, lived in a rented flat not too far from the mall. We even joked about how we could have been neighbors and never known it. Yeah, could have borrowed sugar from you or something, he said with a wink. Or dental advice. Free consultations over coffee, I joked back. Before we knew it, the mall was announcing closing time. We exchanged numbers, and he promised to call. I walked back to my car, shaking my head at how a day that started with me as a bull in a china shop could end with me feeling like I'd just walked out of a rom-com. Eric didn't waste any time. The very next day, my phone buzzed with a message from him. Hey, Anna, how about dinner tonight? I promised to keep all breakables at a safe distance. I laughed at that, the memory of yesterday's disaster still fresh. Sure, why not? I typed back. But let's make it somewhere with plastic plates, just in case. Dinner was at this laid-back pizza place he knew about. The kind of spot where you could yell across the room and nobody would bat an eye. We grabbed a corner booth, and he waved down a waitress with a, "Hey, can we get some menus over here?" that was loud enough to compete with the chatter around us. As we waited for our food, conversation flowed like cheap wine, easy and a bit too much. He had a knack for storytelling, and his hands did half the talking, waving around as he described the latest app he was developing. It's gonna be huge, Anna. Think, like, the next level of dating apps where you don't just see photos, but hear the person's playlist too. Sounds complicated, I admitted, sipping my soda and watching his enthusiasm bubble over. Music and love, huh? Exactly, he exclaimed. Music tells you a lot about a person. More than a bio or a stupid selfie. We dug into our pizza, and he asked about my day at the clinic. I told him about the usual root canals and cavity fillings, nothing as exciting as app development. It's not groundbreaking, but it pays for my house and lets me meet interesting people. Like you, I added with a smirk. Hey, I'm flattered to be considered interesting, he said, raising his eyebrows in mock surprise. Our pizza crusts were the only thing left when he leaned in, more serious now. Anna, I really like you. There's something about you that just clicks with me. I felt the warmth rise to my cheeks. I feel the same, Eric. It's like we've known each other for years, not just days. Then let's not slow down, he suggested, his voice dropping to a near whisper across the table. Let's see where this goes. From then on, we were inseparable. If we weren't at work, we were together, movies, picnics, sometimes just long drives with no destination. He'd show up at my house with takeout from some new place he wanted us to try, and we'd end up talking till the wee hours of the morning. One evening, sprawled on my couch, he turned to me, his expression more serious than usual. Anna, I'm falling hard for you. I don't want games or maybes. I want this, us. I didn't hesitate. I'm all in, Eric. Completely. It felt right, like all the pieces were falling into place. He fit into my life like he was always meant to be there. His clothes started filling up some space in my closet, and his toothbrush found a spot next to mine in the bathroom. It was domestic, comfortable, and just plain real. We were talking about the future one night, lying in my backyard, looking up at the stars. Big family, huh, he mused, his hand finding mine in the dark. Yeah, the bigger, the better. Fill the house with kids and chaos, I said, the idea warming me more than the summer night air. He squeezed my hand. Sounds perfect. Chaotic and loud, but perfect. The wedding day came faster than a heartbeat. I was all nerves and butterflies, but when I saw Eric waiting for me at the altar, everything else just faded away. He was grinning like he'd won the lottery, and honestly, so was I. The ceremony was a blur of vows and cheers, and before I knew it, we were man and wife. The party afterward was loud and lively, just like we wanted. It was during the reception that I first really talked to Eric's parents, who'd flown in from some tropical paradise they'd retired to. His mom, Linda, was all smiles, dripping with jewelry, and his dad, Mark, was this laid-back type who seemed happy just watching everyone else have a good time. Anna, dear, you look absolutely lovely, Linda gushed, pulling me into a hug that felt a bit too tight. We're so thrilled, aren't we, Mark? Mark nodded, a beer in hand. Absolutely. Eric's a lucky guy. I thanked them, feeling a bit overwhelmed. But it was their next words that started to clue me in on the future. We're so glad to be back. Now that we're here, we'll be seeing a lot more of you both, Linda beamed, not noticing my hesitant smile. Looking forward to it, I managed to say, but the music thankfully drowned out any need for further conversation. As the weeks rolled by after the honeymoon, Eric's parents didn't head back to their island. Instead, they took up semi-permanent residence at a local hotel and became regular fixtures in our lives. It started small. Linda would drop by, usually unannounced, to give friendly advice on how I could improve my home. One Saturday morning, she arrived just as Eric and I were enjoying a lazy breakfast. Without knocking, she waltzed into the kitchen and frowned at the spread on our table. Pancakes and bacon? That's not a very healthy breakfast, is it? Linda chided, her nose wrinkling as if she smelled something foul. Eric, bless him, jumped in. Mom, Anna's an amazing cook. We're happy with her food, really. Linda didn't look convinced, but changed the subject. Anyway, I was thinking we need to have a family dinner soon. Invite some of our friends to meet the lovely new bride. She was already planning it out loud, not asking, but telling. I glanced at Eric, who shrugged helplessly. This was his way of keeping the peace, I knew, but it grated on me. This pattern kept up, Linda's visits growing more frequent and her suggestions turning into demands. She started rearranging my kitchen, critiquing my decorating, and even commenting on how I should dress. One day, out of the blue, she declared she was throwing a party at our house. Not asking, declaring. Your house is just perfect for entertaining, Anna. So cozy, and that lawn. My friends will love it. I blinked, taken aback by her nerve. Okay, Linda. When were you thinking? This Saturday, dear. You won't have to worry about a thing. Just some snacks, maybe those cute little finger sandwiches you do? Oh.